Am I talking to anyone? And what am I telling them? What am I displaying that this, because this is, I said that in the interview, it doesn't say caution, this is a lie. There's nothing about how I look, how we're presenting ourselves that says this is a lie, but it's a complete lie. Nothing about it is genuine, and you're not even allowed to really genuinely say how you feel. So a lot of what Britney Spears has been talking about for so long, I feel, well, finally someone on a very big platform is actually expressing the mechanicals of how controlled you are. You were controlled.
Yeah, there have been over the years artists to say that,
yeah.
And they're almost always called mentally ill.
Yeah.
Shuffled off into some treatment facility where their brains are destroyed by drugs.
It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
You know, you had that, like, I looked at every...
Release his new album, Hit and Run, exclusively to Tidal, the singer revealed the reason he's sidestepping a record label and offering the LP directly through Jay-Z's streaming service.
Our goal is simple. We want to create a better service and a better experience for both fans and artists. And that is our promise to the world.
He also voiced his disapproval about how record labels turn artists into indentured servitude, since the artists have little control or insight over how labels take their music and profit off it online. A claim David Byrne similarly laid against the major labels. Of why he chose to team with Tidal, Prince said, "Once we have our own resources, we can provide what we need for ourselves."
In their paper, taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him. Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means? Nobody does. It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central.
There's a theory that a lot of rappers, they get signed, especially nowadays. These labels, they crunch the numbers. They figure out what works, what brings them money, what doesn't. Rappers getting locked up and rappers dying on two of the biggest promotions as far as money makers for labels. Now, I've spoken to a lot of independent artists. Shout out to Source Walker. One of the things that he told me when I said, yo, he said, yo, Jay been trying to sign me. I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you sign? He said, because I don't want a label playing with my life.
Will Smith, Chris Rock, you watch that, what do you think? How do you digest it?
I am in the production business. I understand what is worth doing for ratings. I understand what is worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either of you. This is how quarterbacking go. So the question is, hey, your quarterback just got sacked. Did we know we was fin to sack your quarterback? We absolutely did. It was a play, buddy. We've been rehearsing it, working it out, making sure that at some point, when you get to this level, we can make sure we knock you from a $20 million man to putting in the news that people won't hire you no more and your career is done. Yeah.
So you're saying it was a setup?
You can do all of that.
You saying it was?
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
Everything that happens in a business, everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
Yes. What I'm saying is, if Jussie Smollett and Lee Daniels for a living make stories that are not real, and they make them so good that people believe them and buy them, and that's what business they're in, why would you think it would be weird if they flipped out and said a story that turned out to not be true?
Why would we think that if they are capable of doing that for a living?
That's what they do for a living. They do that 300 episodes, is take something fictitious and make it seem real. That's the business. Why would you understand that?
But I don't think Will was
There's
pretending.
not very many mistakes.
What happens is
there should be no but after that last point. You period that, and then you move on to the next sentence.
Nobody never did.
That's
like,
it.
nah,
Stop.
I mean, but listen. What I'm saying is, they proposition you. They do things indirectly. Like they might send a stylist at you, right? Listen, they might send a stylist at you.
Wear this.
And the stylist is being all extra tight. Listen, homie, we ain't doing that. Or they might invite you to a party and there's no bitches there. It's a sausage party.